Have you ever stopped to wonder what's really going on inside your body when you're, let's say, not being 100% truthful? Well, it turns out honesty isn't just some moral high ground, it might actually be a biological need. So let's dive into the pretty surprising science that connects telling the truth to our own physical and mental peace.
Okay, so we've all seen it in the movies, right? The intense lie detector scene. But how does a hunk of metal and wires actually know you're lying? Is it some kind of mind-reading magic? The answer is way simpler and, honestly, a lot more interesting. It has everything to do with our own built-in survival kit.
All right, so the first thing to get straight is that a polygraph, a lie detector, doesn't detect lies. Not really. It can't read your thoughts, thank goodness. What it's actually doing is acting like a super sensitive monitor, just tracking and recording all these little physical reactions happening inside your body that you have no control over.
And this is where it gets really fascinating. It's measuring things like your heart rate, how fast you're breathing, your blood pressure, and even if you're starting to sweat. Now, think about it. Those are the exact same signs your body shows when you're facing a real physical danger. A pounding heart, quick breaths, sweaty palms. You can't control this stuff.
So that leads to a pretty big question, right? Why on earth would telling a little white lie trigger the same reaction as, I don't know, coming face to face with a bear in the woods? It's because your body is hardwired with this incredibly powerful, ancient alarm system that's designed to protect you from any and all threats.
And that whole system? It's run by something called the autonomic nervous system. Just think of it as the automatic control panel for your body's emergency response team. It works in the background, you don't even have to think about it. And it has two settings that are complete opposites. So, on one hand, you've got the sympathetic nervous system. This is your alarm on switch. It's the gas pedal. It floods your body with everything it needs to either fight the danger or run away from it fast. And then on the other hand, you have the parasympathetic nervous system. That's the alarm off switch. It's the brake. Its whole job is to calm everything down once the coast is clear.
So when that alarm on switch gets flipped, it's not just a feeling, It kicks off a very real chemical reaction inside you. And that reaction is all about hormones.
Now, the research points to two key players here, testosterone and cortisol. You can think of these as your body's emergency fuel. They just pour into your system to make you sharp, focused, and ready for some kind of intense action.
So you can really see how this whole chain reaction works. It all starts with a single lie. Your brain, which knows the truth, flags this mismatch as a threat. That immediately flips the alarm on switch, which then unleashes those stress hormones, and boom, you get the very physical changes that a polygraph machine is built to pick up on.
Okay, so this is the absolute key, right here. Your ancient primal nervous system. It's not very sophisticated. It literally cannot tell the difference between a real-life tiger about to pounce and the stress you create by telling a lie. To your body, a threat is a threat, period. And this is the real aha moment, especially for us living today. Every single time you present a version of yourself that isn't quite true, whether it's a heavily filtered photo or just a tiny exaggeration on your profile, you're basically telling your body, hey, we're in danger. You are creating that same threat situation inside yourself.
And I mean, just think about how often we do this, from building that perfect life online to beefing up our skills on a resume, or even just pretending everything's fine when it's not. We are constantly putting our own bodies into a state of fight or flight against lies that we ourselves created. Now, a little bit here and there might seem harmless, but what happens when that alarm system is sort of always on, humming in the background? What's the real long-term cost of living in this constant low-level state of threat? Well, the consequences, as it turns out, hit you both mentally and physically.
So let's start with your head. Constantly having to fight to keep up a lie, to maintain a false reality, that puts an incredible amount of strain on you. You're always on edge, right? Always a little worried you're going to get caught.
And what the research shows is that this constant stress state is directly linked to things like anxiety, depression, and even just being irritable and moody all the time. It makes perfect sense, doesn't it? If your body is always geared up for a fight, your mind is going to be too.
And that mental stress? Nope, it absolutely does not just stay in your head. Those stress hormones, cortisol and testosterone, when they're always floating around in your system at high levels, they start to do some real damage to your physical body.
And the effects are things you can actually feel. We're talking about serious, long-term health problems. Everything from high blood pressure and heart trouble to constant fatigue, headaches, and even weird weight gain. Yeah, the physical price you pay for faking it
It's no joke. But here is the really good news in all of this. If being dishonest is what's causing all this biological stress, then the solution is actually wonderfully simple. It's not about being some perfect saint. It's just about choosing to be real, choosing authenticity. And really, this is the main thing to remember. Choosing to be honest is an act of self-care. It's medicinal. It is literally you telling your own body that there is no threat, that it's safe, and that it can stand down. When you line up what you do with what's actually true, you finally give that alarm off switch, your parasympathetic nervous system, a chance to do its job. You let your body rest, recover, and repair itself. You bring yourself back to a natural state of calm, of biological peace.
So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question to think about. Just take a look at your life, your daily chats, your social media, even the conversations you have with yourself. Where's one place you could be a little more honest? Where can you intentionally flip that alarm switch to off, and in doing so, give yourself the incredible gift of peace?